Hi, welcome. It is just so lovely to see you all here tonight. It's so exciting. I'm Amy Miller, the Executive Director and co-founder of May Center. It's our privilege to welcome you to this celebration. We're going to start with a brief video that kind of talks about our work, and then Dr. Ed Kleiner, our board president, and I will be back.
Hello, my name is Amy Miller, and I'm the Executive Director of May Center for Learning. I work here at May Center along with 26 committed learning specialists. May School serves as a model for best practice in literacy instruction for the entire state of New Mexico. Our teachers take a diagnostic approach that's grounded in the science of reading. They have extensive experience in the brain science of how the brain learns to read, and they take a very individual approach for each child that they work with.
What we can provide you and your child is the confidence to become an independent, successful, engaged learner. We teach your child how they learn best. We bring awareness to what their strengths are.
As a parent of a dyslexic child myself, I know what it's like to get that diagnosis. It can feel overwhelming, scary. You might wonder about your child's future. We understand what it feels like, both from a professional level and also from a personal one.
We at May Center know how to teach reading to students who learn differently, to students who struggle to learn how to read. This begins with early childhood, begins with the alphabet, with phonics instruction, phonological awareness. This is really the science of reading. This continues through our elementary, that's grades 1 through 3, in the Montessori classroom, and continues on, develops in a structured framework through our intermediate school, 4th through 8th grade.
I'm grateful every single day for this place, for the May Center. Like every day that I drop my kid off, there's a sense of hope and gratitude and relief that he's in a place where he's understood.
Literacy is a human right, and yet so often children with dyslexia and other learning differences struggle to learn to read and write in a typical school setting. Often by the time we meet these kids, they feel depressed, not smart, or like they're not good enough to succeed in a traditional classroom setting, despite the fact that these children often have high intelligence.
We offer a safe space, a place where students can learn without the fear of being different, without the intimidation of having a learning difference like dyslexia.
These children will thrive on anything we give them as long as we give them the environment that works for them. We have an environment that we can meet your child's needs.
Why I like to come to school here is that I feel like I've made a lot of progress in my reading and my academic work, and this is my whole life, I guess. I have all my friends here and everybody that I know and get along with are here.
At May Center, we strive to help families understand their child's learning differences. We use the word difference to talk about learning here at May Center because it truly is a neurological difference in the way that the brain is processing language. So from the very beginning of our relationship with your family, we'll strive to help you understand how your child learns best.
Our journey with our son here was a long one. He has many learning differences, and the public school system wasn't equipped for that. And that's how we found the May Center after doing some research.
Yeah, once we got here, Ezra had the safety that he needed to feel empowered, to know how it is that he learns, to work with his dyslexia, to see his ADHD as a superpower, and how he's just an empowered little kid.
We're preparing students to become independent learners, confident learners. And after the 8th grade, when students will go to other schools, such as St. Michael's High School, Santa Fe Prep, New Mexico School for the Arts, that they're ready to take on the challenges at those schools.
I went to school here for 5 years, and in that time I learned to read, write, and improve my relationship with other students and teachers. Now I go to Santa Fe Prep, and it has given me a great foundation to move forward in life.
I love teaching. I love teaching here at the May School. I love teaching the middle school students. I love watching that journey of a kid coming here uncertain and working with them, collaborating with them to find out the puzzle of their unique brain and helping them leave here empowered and ready to learn in any environment.
My goal when I am done teaching this class or each class is that my children become very proud, very successful. My favorite is when the child looks at me after doing a piece of work and says, "I did it, Miss Daisy, I did it." That's my goal. I know I've done my job.
I have been amazed at the transformation I've seen from students who start with us to the time that they leave us. It seems like a completely different child. They have more confidence, and the joy of learning has come back, this real authentic joy of learning.
We look forward to meeting you and to developing a relationship with your child. When we think about the future for your child, we picture a person who is brave, confident, willing to take risks, and ultimately able to take the steps they need to achieve their dreams.
Thank you all for coming. We are so excited to be celebrating 10 years. My name's Edward Kleiner. First, I'd like to open the evening with a few words of respect for the heritage of our home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The place we call Santa Fe is indigenous land, recognized and known as Ogapoge, meaning white shell water place. We recognize that this land is one piece of a larger, boundless terrain for indigenous peoples, the Tewa, Hickory Apache, the Diné, Navajo, Cochiti, Taos, and Hopi Pueblos. It's been an absolute privilege to have been a small part of the May Center since its beginning 10 years ago. As a pediatrician in Santa Fe for over 40 years, my focus has always been the well-being of our children. In my discussions with families, it was apparent that educational differences affected their well-being in so many ways, and conventional diagnostics and teaching often were difficult to access and often less than effective. It was 10 years ago that I attended the initial gathering of Amy, Karen Lindeen, Dr. Caroline Kingston, and others, during which Dr. Joyce Pickering addressed all of us about what could be done in Santa Fe to alter the outcome for children with learning differences. In this past 10 years, May Center has become a major force in the social, emotional, and educational lives of so many children. And again, I'm honored to have been a small part of supporting that mission. It is a wonderful thing to hear a student say, "Now I get it." We are fortunate to have a strong, respectful, and effective board. I'd like to introduce the other members and ask them to stand. Jackson Libowitz. You found a seat. Good. Mary Irene Stevens. Tina Whitegeese. Dr. Caroline Kingston. Mr. Hal Malcho. Robert Glick was unable to join us tonight.
Thank you all for being here tonight to celebrate with us. Before I begin my remarks, I want to acknowledge our special guests for this evening, so many community partners that we have been privileged to work with over the last decade. First, Secretary of Education, Kurt Steinhaus. Thank you so much for being here. Deputy Secretary of Education, Gwen Perea-Warnament. Mariana Padilla from Governor Lujan Grisham's office. Our community partners, Christina Velasquez from Pojoaque Valley Public Schools, Kim Sandoval and Jessica Powell from the CES LEAP Teacher Alternative Licensure Program, Crystal Suazo from Pojoaque Pueblo, Heather Fleming from New Mexico Literacy Institute, and of course our honorees for this evening, who have been so essential to supporting May Center's vision and mission. "10 years ago, Karen Lundeen and I were dreaming big." Gonna cry already. We envisioned an outward-facing nonprofit educational center with the capacity to transform education in New Mexico. Our mission: to empower students with learning differences to be successful, confident learners who recognize the importance of community, collaboration, and communication. What started as a tutoring program for 10 students in a small office has grown into an organization that employs more than 40 educators in our school, Center for Childhood Development, summer programs in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, and Teacher Institute. Over this last decade, more than 1,000 students have participated in May Center's programs, and we have provided professional development in best practices in literacy instruction for more than 17,000 teachers. Tonight we celebrate those who have helped build May Center for Learning during our first 10 years, and we look forward to sharing our big dreams for May Center's next decade. Essential to these dreams are May Center's passionate, exceptional staff, past and present. They are the heart and mind of our laboratory for best practices, and we are deeply grateful for their commitment to our community. May Center educators, past and present, please stand. May Center for Learning is more than an organization. It is a community called to protect an essential human right, the right to literacy. Tonight you will have the opportunity to hear from some of May Center's students, past and present, who will share with you their reflections on where they have come from, their struggles and their triumphs, and who they will become. As we've prepared for tonight, I have been moved to hear the aspirations of our current students, and to be reminded of the hopes and dreams of our alumni who are now grown. I keep returning to one line written by current May School student Grace Anderson. "I am a dream in progress, building itself over time." May Center is also a dream in progress, building itself over time. I am so grateful to all who have dreamed this dream with me over the last decade. You are my home. And so we start where it all began, with our founding board members. Here to honor them is someone who has been integral to May Center's success, May School Director Stephanie Binkley, with May Center alumni Peter Gale.
Thank you, Amy. May Center has been fortunate to have inspired, mission-driven, passionate board members throughout our first decade. From day one, our board members have had the vision to see May Center for what it could be, and they have worked tirelessly to support making that vision possible. May Center's founding board members were particularly brave, willing to support Amy and Karen's vision, despite the fact that they started out with very little money, a shoestring staff, and a small 4-room office to teach out of. It is really my honor to stand next to Peter Gale tonight. He is one of my very first May Center students. So I will turn it to Peter.
Thank you. It's been quite a journey since I first started at the May Center. One of my earliest memories was hoping to make new friends at the May Center, which I did, and it was good. It was a fun time at the May Center.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the courage, vision, and hard work of Mason Center's founding board members, over 1,000 students have participated in May Center's school, tutoring, summer, and evaluation programs. It is our honor to present May Center's founding board members. So I'll read even. Okay. So Michelle Monroe is not here. Joni Hallmark. Dr. Caroline Kingston. And Edward Gale, who could not be here tonight, and his wife Maria Gale is here to accept on his behalf. Milton and Marie Cardwell. And Dr. Edward Kleiner. And now, introducing May Center's founding staff, the students who know them best, their children, Blaze Miller and Scarlett Lindeen and Nick Stanton.
We were all pretty young when our parents were dreaming about the May Center. I was only 11.
I was 3.
And I was 2.
And as we grew up, we have all had the opportunity to be May School students. But being the kids of the school leaders isn't always easy. Everybody knows when you make a mistake and get in trouble.
And we all spent countless hours sitting in our mom's offices and classrooms waiting to go home after school.
But there were some good things about it too. Being a student before the May Center, always kind of figured that I was different from everybody else, and that was proven true when I had teachers ask me to read, and I was like, I don't want to, because this is uncomfortable for me, because I know I'm going to constantly mess up. And going to the May Center really changed that. I had a community that was like me, and there were people who struggled with the same things that I did, and also different things that I don't struggle with. But it was a very nice experience, and I felt at home. One of the things that the May Center actually did for me that I'm very grateful for was my teacher, Karen Lindeen, helped me learn how to write essays really well. And that is advice that I've taken with me all through high school and into my college years.
And through my years of being at the May Center, I know I'm not the only one here tonight whose parents have threatened to tell Miss Daisy when you're misbehaving.
May Center feels like a big family to us, and we hope it feels the same way to every student who comes here.
We are happy to honor May Center's founding staff tonight. Thank you for all you have given to all of us over the years. Your hard work has manifested a beautiful legacy for us and for all May Center students, past, present, and future. First up, Patty Conway. Juliana Ciano. Amy Stanton. Karen Lindeen. And Amy Miller. And now, here's May Center Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Amy Stanton, and May Center alumni, Benjamin Becker, to honor May Center's mentor, Dr. Joyce Pickering.
Good evening. We are thrilled to be here to honor Dr. Joyce Pickering.
Dr. Pickering is quite simply the reason the May Center exists.
Thanks to our amazing benefactor, Linda Taylor, Amy Miller and I had the opportunity to participate in professional development in the C Dyslexia Intervention Program, a program developed and taught by Dr. Joyce Pickering and Dr. Charles Shedd. This professional development would change our lives in more ways than one. First, it would bring us together and begin a friendship that is now over a decade strong. Second, it would kindle the flame of a dream that would bring a nonprofit school and outreach center dedicated to students with learning differences to New Mexico. Years later, May Center would become the first organization in New Mexico to offer national certification in MSL teaching through our affiliation with Shelton. And personally, I would also like to share that I had this training with Dr. Pickering, and I knew that I had found where I needed to put my energy, my vocation, my passion. And I have not wavered since then. And Dr. Joyce Pickering has been back several times, and one of those times that she came back, when you do the training, you have to have observations done by someone who is an instructor. And she did my very first observation. So I had to teach a student in front of her. And I was so intimidated. And I have to tell you, the grace and kindness and instruction that she gave me was fabulous, and it meant so much to me that it really just continued to keep me going and going, thus me becoming an instructor. So thank you, Dr. Pickering.
Dr. Pickering's career is truly inspirational. She is a 40-year Montessorian, speech and hearing pathologist, and learning disability specialist who has devoted her life to addressing the needs of students with learning differences. Currently, Joyce is Executive Director Emerita of Shelton School and Evaluation Center in Dallas, Texas, the world's largest school for intelligent children with learning differences, where she has been a leader and educator for over 30 years.
Joyce is the 2013 Living Legacy recipient for American Montessori Society, as well as president of AMS Board of Directors. Montessori Accreditation Council for Teacher Education awarded the Wisdom of the Elders Award to Joyce in 2015. The author of the C Dyslexia Intervention Program, Joyce is an adjunct professor at Dallas Baptist University and a clinical assistant professor at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center. Joyce has traveled the world to present classes and keynote speeches about Montessori education and how to meet the needs of students with learning differences. Most importantly, Joyce has been May Center's mentor, advocate, and friend for over a decade.
We are honored to introduce Dr. Joyce Pickering.
So being here is part of my dream. As I came to Shelton School in 1990, I had already had a career as a speech-language pathologist working with children with spoken language challenges. And then in 1966, I had some parents tell me that their children had been diagnosed with dyslexia. Couldn't we help them? And so I went to our school superintendent, and we got a federal grant for 3 years. And we had the fortune of having Dr. Charles Shedd as one of our mentors, Dr. Sylvia Richardson, and Dr. June Shelton. They taught me what I have shared with so many people over the years. They gave me so many gifts, and I feel such a responsibility to pass those on. When I arrived at Shelton in 1990, there were 170 students there. The school started with 26, and it had grown to 170. The board asked me what I wanted Shelton to be, and I said I wanted to be a school where all children feel successful, and I want it to be a resource center because we have gifts from these mentors that we must share. So we opened the Outreach Center, and we have trained people all over the United States and overseas in many, many countries, and we have helped programs like May Center set up the program that they have. Walking through that school today, your school, touched my heart so deeply that I saw the dream that we have being fulfilled. The wonderful students and their engagement, the wonderful teachers and administrators, and the wonderful leadership of Amy Miller and Amy Stanton. When I first heard about dyslexia and children struggling to read, it touched my heart like nothing I had ever worked with before. And the reason was, as a little girl, I always had my nose in a book. I loved to read. And to think that a child couldn't do that was just devastating to me, because there's so much in life that people don't tell you. Even your parents don't share a lot of knowledge with you just because of the busyness of life. But if you can read, you can learn about people around the world and in all times, and your world opens up. So I want you to look on the front of the C manuals, and you'll see a quote that I put there. And it is I want to be sure I say it right, the limits of my language are the limits of my world. The ability to speak and communicate with others, the ability to read, write, and spell written language, open the world to you. Amy Miller and Amy Stanton and their staff have opened the world to many people here at the May Center and with their outreach program all over New Mexico. I thank them for their dedication and perseverance, because this is a tireless, endless work, and it is not a job, it is a mission. And thank them for the founding of this remarkable school. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Amy.
Where's Jack? Okay. All right, hi. I'm Trudy Moon. I'm a current May School teacher, and I've been here since 2013. This is May Center alum Jack Dunn and current May Center student Francisco Sandoval. When Karen and Amy were dreaming about the May Center's role in the community, they always envisioned something, an organization that was a lot more than just a private school that would deal with a few kids. They wanted it to have a much broader reach. So key to the vision was engaging in authentic partnerships with stakeholders across the public and the private sectors to improve literacy outcomes for all children, not just the ones that were lucky enough to come here.
In 2019, May Center's community came together to support SB 398, a bill sponsored by Senator Mimi Stewart that required all New Mexico schools to screen first graders for dyslexia, and all New Mexico elementary teachers to have professional development in structured literacy. May Center students, parents, and teachers showed up at the legislative committee meetings to support the bill.
I'm not really sure what to say. I'm supposed to talk about the experience, but I was only running on chips and Powerade that day, so forgive me if my memory is a little fuzzy here. I remember getting there late. I had to get let in a little later than other people, and I had nothing prepared like other kids, so I had to improvise. So what I remember saying is the experience at the May Center and how it changed me personally, because there was other people like me that experienced the same thing. Also, how it feels to be left out at public schools if you're just a little bit different out of the quote-unquote normal. But yeah, it's a very welcoming community, and SB 398, I'm pretty sure, has kids get screened at a young age. So if they have that disability, they can get addressed faster than probably the majority of students at the May Center, which I think is a very empowering thing. Thank you.
awesome, Francisco. You did just as good that day. I was there. And it was amazing to be there watching kids get up and give their experience to committee and actually make laws, you know. So in SB 398 became law in April 2019. Since then, May Center has partnered with New Mexico Public Education Department to produce a dyslexia handbook, a structured literacy curriculum rubric, a series of live webinars for educators, and 2 free online courses for New Mexico teachers.
May Center is deeply grateful to Senator Stewart, whose steadfast commitment to improving education in New Mexico over several decades has made a brighter future for all students in New Mexico. Thank you, Senator Stewart.
And now it is our honor to introduce New Mexico Senate President Pro Tem Mimi Stewart.
I have to warn you, there is so much joy and excitement in this room. I'm going to cry up here, so be ready for it. So in 1995, I was teaching at Zia Elementary in Albuquerque. I had a wonderful classroom of special education students, ages 2 through 5, grades 2 through 5. And one night, I got a magazine from the American Federation of Teachers with authors Joseph Torgerson, Louisa Moats, Marcia Henry, there were others, all about the science of reading. And I was so excited reading that magazine. Phonemic awareness, I didn't know much about it. How to do it, easy, 15 minutes a day. If your name starts with line up at the door. That magazine just made me so hopeful and turned me on. So I went to school, and I just thought all people needed to do was read that magazine. And then we would all be on the same page. I was a little naive. I'm very optimistic. I had gotten elected to the legislature the year before, in '94. So I just started trying to do bills to make sure that everybody knew this wonderful research about how kids really learn to read and how to teach them so that everyone learns to read. So I spent about the next 15 years training myself. Sandra Dillon, letters training, went to see Marcia Henry. I mean, every summer, I took advantage of whatever there was. During that time, I also started tutoring. I had this little 5th grade student, young man, who said, "Miss Stewart, there's just a secret code. Everybody around me knows that secret code, and I don't know it." And I said, "You're right. There is a secret code. It's called the alphabetic code. I'm going to teach it to you." So I taught him for 3 years and moved him up to his current grade level. And that power of doing that, and the power of structured literacy and understanding dyslexia, really has made me who I am today. I wish I could go back and redo all of my teaching career. But instead, you've already heard in 2019, I met the Amy Miller and the students from the May Center. And yeah, they were all in that room, and I presented the bill, and then one at a time, they all stood up, bravely, without crying, either read their statements, or like Cisco, just talked from the heart. And when they were done, there was not a dry eye in the whole room. And then the bill passed unanimously. That was the first committee. It was a little rougher in the next committees. But we had a really good deputy secretary, Gwen Prea-Warniment. We had a great governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, who we twisted her arm and she signed the bill. And since then, we have been working nonstop with Amy, with Gwen Prea-Warniment, with Kurt Steinhaus on how we do it right, how we really start training our elementary teachers so that they understand how to reach every child in their classroom. So it's only taken me 28 years to get here. I'm willing to do it for some more, but we really want to change the trajectory. We have 70% of our public school students who are not reading proficiently. 70% not reading proficiently. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we've taken a huge step. We have great people. And when are we going to hear about the Literacy Institute and Mr. Nikoloff? Pretty soon, I bet. Really excited about that. But it's the students at the May Center that really sold that bill that day. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Amy Frescus, and I am a second grade teacher at Pablo Rebal Elementary School in Powaka, New Mexico. Over the last 2 years, our school has had the opportunity to participate in professional development in effective literacy instruction through the May Center.
Good evening. My name is Lizzie Pacheco, and I am a first grade teacher at Pablo Roybal Elementary School. I have had the pleasure of working with the May Center since the school year of 2020. Through the training I have received from May Center and Amy Miller, I have developed an understanding on how to effectively teach reading to my first grade students. Since the implementation of structured literacy and the coaching and support from May Center for Learning, my students have shown a tremendous amount of growth in decoding, reading, spelling, comprehension, writing, and vocabulary. Due to the pandemic and online learning, my students came in extremely below grade level the last 2 years. As a result of the May Center partnership, about 80% of my students are now on the grade level this school year.
Through my partnership with the May Center, I have been able to develop an understanding of reviewing data and placing my students in appropriate intervention groups. In these groups, I have learned how to effectively implement strategies that Amy Miller has provided in order to meet the needs of my students by focusing on foundational reading skills. It has truly been amazing to see my students applying the skills they have learned, specifically in spelling and vocabulary.
May Center's work at Pablo Roybal and other public schools throughout New Mexico has been supported through the generosity of private funders. Tonight, we are happy to be here to honor one of those donors, the Nicola Family Foundation.
The Nicola Family Foundation has supported May Center's tutoring program at Aspen Community School, as well as literacy teacher professional development programs at Turquoise Trail Charter School and Pablo Roybal Elementary School. Recently, the Nicola Family Foundation has taken their commitment to improving literacy outcomes for students in New Mexico to a new level by funding the formation of a new nonprofit New Mexico Literacy Institute.
New Mexico Literacy Institute brings together the expertise, focus, strategy, and implementation science necessary to ensure that every child in New Mexico learns to read. This new nonprofit will accomplish this vision by funding high-impact literacy initiatives. Their first project will be funding the development of 2 May Way model schools which will implement the May Center model of teaching excellence in public schools.
Pablo Ribal is proud and excited to be one of these 2 model schools. We look forward to deepening our literacy practices so that all students at Pablo Ribal Elementary School and Powaka District learn to read.
So in 2014, May Center students wrote a collection of poems and artwork titled Where I Come From that won Best Young Adult Book at the New Mexico-Arizona Book Awards. Tonight, we are excited to present Where I Come From 2022. Our current May Center students have written their own poems, and they will be performing excerpts from them tonight, along with some of our returning alumni, who will be reciting excerpts from the poems they wrote 8 years ago. Students, I will release you by group. Group 1, please take your places. Group 2, take your places. It is. And group 3, please take your places. As the students are getting ready, I'll let you know that at the end of the performance, our chaperones will escort the kids out the sides to the lobby where they will wait. So if everyone will just stay until the students get out, and that way, students there, the rest of us will process up to the dining hall after the performance. Are we ready with the other mics? Okay, great. All right, then it is my pleasure to introduce the students of May Center for Learning.
I come from an all-you-can-eat king crab buffet. From an indoor water park. From the Tucson, Arizona Fossils and Mineral Show. From the kitchen where my grandma is making sopapillas. I come from a Deinosuchus stomach, from the jaws of a Titanoboa, from a prehistoric museum, from the South Carolina Purple Heart Mine, world-class amethyst mine, from the prehistoric times.
I come from a line of astronauts. I come from a line of dinosaurs. I come from a season called spring.
I am a 65-million-year-old kid.
I come from the deep. I can fly with the wind, and I can run with the world, and I can burn with the fire.
I come from sunlight. I am a watcher, I am a seeker, I am a gatherer.
I take a deep breath to this beautiful view and recite. I can control my happiness. I'm curious, I'm clever, I'm independent, I'm polite, I'm persistent, and I'm exceptional.
I am a hunter, I am a welder, I am a soldier. I will be there in the wet, cold rain.
I come from camping in a rainy forest. I come from skiing down a slope at sonic speed. I come from muddy and dirty rutas with my brothers and their friends blasting music. I am as fast as a skier on a mountain.
I am the one that likes to try new things.
I'm a dream in progress, building itself with time.
I come from my family. I come from being a traveler, a fisherman, and a game player.
I
I am the one who helps make my parents breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the weekends.
I come from cannonballing in my grandparents' pool, from pinkies out and no elbows on the table, from proper grammar and over-pronunciating, from bacon and eggs on Sunday mornings.
I am a good dog owner. I feed my dogs, I play with my dogs, I love my dogs.
You will know me for my love of animals.
I'm the one that makes other people feel at peace and heard.
I come from loving the quiet, from dreading the loud screams of people making up their minds.
From feeling like a pencil when they broke a tent. From being a disappointment staring at a blank page. I come from a town with no people. I come from a tree with no leaves. I come from a locked room, but I hear the bells ringing outside my door.
I come from feeling trapped in my learning disability. I come from having too many goals and not enough time.
I come from feeling like an alligator next to a giraffe. I'm the one who sometimes does things quickly. I can grow taller. At least I hope I can.
I am clever and original. My mind runs wild with crazy thoughts.
I'm good at making inventions. I'm generous to others, to other people, and I am good at helping people to fix and destroy things too.
From me pirate cove, hidden away in me treasure trove.
I am the Frog King. I slew the mortals, so all my subjects may hop and jump all around the world with no worry of people eating our frog legs. When you think about it, it's quite messed up that people try to eat our legs. But currently, my subjects are suffering from hip-hop plague.
I will be focused.
I will be focused. I will be careful. My future is set, but unsettled, like the waves of the sea.
I will respect the ones that are defeated. I'll give them a hand.
I will be a liberator and help people who need help.
I come from those who tell me that feeling confident in your own skin, that's what really makes you. The secret to beauty is simple. Be who you are. I come from them and me. Scarlet Fairland.
I am kind, I am accepting, I will be patient for as long as necessary.
I come from sports and action, surprises and scares. My life is sweet like ice cream.
I'm the one that arrives to school happy. I can tell funny jokes, do silly pranks, and act like a lively clown. I will be a teacher. I will go to college. I will be a scientist.
I will be the one to forgive. I will be the one who can leave the past out of my future. My future is what I'm going to make it. I will be safe. I will be the happy one.
I'm one who is sketching and writing to build my story. I can learn, I can create. I'm a new generation that's waiting to bloom.
I am excited for the future.
I'm a believer.
Grateful that you've been with us to celebrate this evening. After the students leave, we invite you to go on up to the dining room and we'll have a brief mingling time and then dinner. Thank you so much.